So as it stands, APS is requesting a 14% increase. This comes after an 8% increase back in 2023 and 2024. A spokesperson for APS, they tell us that this increase would help cover funds that were spent on operation and maintenance costs in previous years, saying it would improve structures like their electrical grid. Well, today, AG Kris Mayes announced her office filed expert testimony saying this proposed 14% increase is significantly higher than what it actually costs to attract and retain investors. Her office said the APS could stay just as reliable and pay out investors with a rate increase of 3%. Not the requested 14. She also went on to say that under this plan, customers could save around $220 a year. Mayes says, quote, APS is asking Arizona families to foot the bill for shareholder profits that far exceed what any reasonable investor requires. This is just corporate greed run amok. Now, meanwhile, management at SRP proposed a temporary summer price decrease. Officials say they have a surplus of $56 million because retail sales did better than expected and natural gas and market power costs were lower than expected. They want to lower prices by 3% from May to October, which means your monthly bill could be about $5 cheaper. Any little bit helps these days. So if approved by the SRP Board Finance and Budget Committee, the entire board would vote on this proposal on March 26th. Derek?